Mullin.
Thank you, and thank you for being here today. It was a pleasure meeting you. I do have to kind of address something beginning. Our chairman came out with a very strong comment, daring everybody basically that they disagreed with your qualifications to say it with a straight face. And as always, he always talks about starvation wages, in which I thought, man, he's really setting the tone here. But then I'm just starting to figure out that's just your personality. No offense there, but this is your personality. But then I still understand. I don't understand the lack of knowledge, of basic knowledge, when this is the health, education, labor, and pension. The basic knowledge of understanding what labor cost really is. As a business owner who's employed truly hundreds of people, labor is always going to have a beginning wage, and everything else goes from there. So you can't call a beginning wage a starvation wage if there's always going to be a beginning wage. I don't care what industry you're in, it's always going to start something. The product that industry is making is going to adjust whatever the cost of that final product is. It's going to be delivered to everybody. But that is actually what an apprenticeship program is too, because that's supposed to get people into the program to start working towards that. But yet apprenticeship programs themselves can actually be kind of restrictive, because a lot of people that are entering these workforces that are going to maybe start requiring apprentices, they didn't want to go to college. But yet we keep expanding apprenticeship programs from 1 year to 2 year to 3 year to some apprenticeship programs are 4 years and longer. And individuals like, look, I didn't want to go to college. That's why I entered this workforce to begin with. So we got to think about what we're talking about when we start expanding apprenticeship programs. But it also understands the lack of people that's running these programs, running the industry, of actually understanding what business is like, which is why so many of us, why you are seems like a super nice individual, and we had a great conversation. That doesn't mean being nice qualifies you to be Secretary of Labor, because if you don't have that basic understanding of knowing what it's like, then how can you relate and truly represent both sides? For instance, have you ever been an employer of a business? It's yes or no. I'm sorry.
I have not, Senator,
Okay.
but my parents have,
Have
and my
you?
family
So,
is.
have you ever done it?
I have not.
Then you don't understand what it's like, how hard it is to actually sit awake at night trying to figure out how you're going to man a job when you don't have the people there and you know you're going to have to do it. Have you ever created or balanced a budget for a business? It's yes or no. These are yes or no's real quick. I want to run through them as quick as I can. I'm going to take that as a no. Have you ever acquired or sold a business?
I have not, Senator.
Okay. Have you ever had to raise capital in order to launch a new business?
I have not, Senator.
Which goes back to one of your comments that you wrote about that I'll get to later. Have you ever had to provide quarterly reports to shareholders?
Senator, I have not done these things.
All right, and I'm just going, this is qualifications, because the chairman said, can you actually say with a straight face if you're qualified on this? And these are points we're trying to make. Have you ever decided which health insurance plan you're going to offer to employees?
Senator, if I may,
I'm just going through these because I'm making a point. The chairman's the one that threw down the gauntlet and said, I dare anybody to say this out of a straight face. I'm just trying to make a point here. So have you ever?
I have not chosen a health insurance plan for
have you ever had an employee file workers' comp that you had to either work with or fight against?
As an employer, no.
Do you know what a workers' comp experience mod is?
I do, based on my work
But
in
you never
government.
had to actually apply it to your bottom line to figure out what your profit margins and bottom line is going to be. Have you ever filed taxes on behalf of business?
I have not, Senator.
Have you ever had to comply with federal regulations on a small business?
No.
So it's really hard to understand what it's like when you're getting mandated and regulations coming at you. Have you ever had your business model threatened by the federal government's overreach of regulations?
No, Senator.
I have. And that's what drove me here today. And when you have someone like yourself that makes a comment like this, like you did in 2005, says the very definition of a corporation as an entity that is created to permit maximum income and designed to insulate individuals who profit from the liability. That's your opinion about a corporation. Do you still stand by that?
So I don't remember when I wrote that or the context in which I wrote it. I don't.
It doesn't. There is no context to which this can be taken out of context. Do you still believe that corporations are just the insulation to shield individuals like myself? Because we don't have any liabilities and we have no financial liabilities at all as a corporation, as an owner at all. I mean, I don't understand that, but do you still stand by that comment? Yes or no?
I will tell you what I do stand by, Senator.
No, I just need yes or no because I'm about ready to run out of time and I got one more question. Do you stand by that comment?
I do stand by the important role that both employers and employees
Do you believe
play in
that
our
American
economy.
society was built on white privilege and systemic racial subordination, to which you've written also?
Can I say what I do stand by, Senator?
No, those are your comments. I'm asking you, do you still believe on both those comments? You wrote those in your comments. Do you stand by those comments or do you not? You wrote them. Do you stand by them or not?
I believe that we
No, ma'am. I'm just
can't-
saying, do you believe what you said? It's a yes or no.
I will say this,
If you
Senator.
can't
I think
answer
it's a
heck
longer
no on this,
conversation.
if you can't answer a heck no on this, Ms. Sue, then that's a huge problem. Because just like our chairman sometimes leads with the gavel with a biased opinion towards labor, you also will lead the secretary, as Secretary of Labor or Labor Department with bias. Because you cannot say those type of statements like that and represent all sides. With that, I yield back.